All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the. Oh, shoot. I already forgot it. Mexico Drone Nationals champion and Copa Latina. Oh, man. Look. All right. Let me just level with you guys here. I am not a Spanish speaker. I can read a little bit of it. But we have Ramon Grande with us. He is the Mexican national champion and also the Latin American champion. So thank you for coming to join us, Ramon.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invite, Michael.
I tried, man. I tried as hard as I possibly could. I think I
It's
think I
okay.
did a terrible disservice to your language.
It's okay.
So, tell me, so let's start with the Mexican drone national champion or Mexican drone nationals first.
Yeah,
You are the Mexican drone national champion.
yeah.
When did you secure that title?
Well, that was, if I'm not wrong, about 1 month ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, I think, October, the
Okay.
first days. Yeah,
All right. And
actually,
then
yeah, I remember the 5th of October.
5th of October. Okay.
Yeah,
And then you went on from there because being the Mexican drone national champion was not enough. You went on to secure the Latin American championship as well. So tell me the
yeah.
difference between the two of those.
Well, the Mexican Road Nationals is a competition only for Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
It's held every year, and I think this was its fourth edition.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I participated. It was my second or third race, and I made terrible because I was just so new in the hobby, so I didn't even qualify for the finals. But this year, it was a good competition amongst Mexican racers,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, well, the format was in 10, or I think we had about 10 or 11 tries, official tries, made your best three consecutive lap times, and at the end we will rank that, and that will be the results of the podium. So yeah, my strategy was do it little by little, not to rush very much in the first laps or the first batteries. And by the fourth or fifth battery, I got a very good time, the one that I wanted to achieve. And I think that also put some more pressure on the other pilots, which made them make some mistakes. And yeah, at the end, I think I could make it a little bit better, like 1 or 2 seconds on the eighth lap or so. So it was a very relaxed competition for me, but it was also because me and my friend Rodrigo, who is my friend who I practice with, we practiced that track several times, like 2 or 3 times with all the obstacles and the gates.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me, I think, a lot. Of course, also practicing other styles of tracks, and also all the other races that I made in the last year. I think that's what got me there.
So you didn't even place last year. Like
No,
you didn't even make it to the finals last year.
no, not
And
even to
then
the eight. Yeah,
you come in this year and you take first.
yeah.
What the heck did you? I mean, did you eat Wheaties? I mean, how did you go from not even making it to the finals to taking first in 1 year?
Well, I think it's just commitment. On last year, I said, okay, it's my second race, but next year I want to be on the podium because I know I can. And with that on my mind, I made a lot of training. I will say this year I fly about 3 or 4 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I also put some training on the simulator. And I think that was it. I was very passionate about giving the best out of myself in 1 year. I even attended multi GP IO this year for the first
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
that I think put me also in another level because I watch how other pilots race. I talked to many of them and they gave me very good tips. And yeah, it was a lot of training, assisting to other races and practicing, which I think helped me a lot to get in that place.
That is super impressive.
Yeah.
I actually didn't. How long have you been? And we'll get more into this in your origin story. But how long have you been flying total?
Well, FPV flying, it's about 1 year and a half, and before maybe 1 year line of sight. Yeah.
So you're the guy that I hate.
No, why?
No, I mean it just I remember when I started flying, like I in 2016. So keep in mind the technology was actually a lot different.
Yeah.
Or the technology wasn't a lot different, but the firmware and the flight control software was a lot different.
Yeah.
And I feel like I struggled for months and months and months. And then occasionally these guys come along like you that you're just good at it. So I say that jokingly. I mean, you're not the guy I hate at all. But that's super impressive to go from in 1 year, or a year and a half at most, to go from your second or third race is the nationals, and then taking first and
Yeah.
that's just the Mexican drone nationals. So
Yeah.
tell me about, was it the Copa de Latina Latino 2019?
Yeah. Okay, well, about that Copa, the first 5 places of Mexico Drone Nationals passed or got a place to represent Mexico in this international competition. And so other pilots from other Latin American countries got that chance by qualifying in their events. So, by that point, I knew that I will be racing among a new group of more prepared pilots, maybe or for sure some better than me or faster than me. So, yeah, I say, okay, don't put that much pressure on you. If you don't win even the podium, I just have to go and fly my lines and relax and have a good time there. Uh, for some reason, some of the pilots that qualified and made the first and second best times, they were from Dominican Republic. I think they went to multi-GP champions and they couldn't do it for the Latino. So they didn't went, and to be honest, I think one of them could have got the first place and second place because they had better times. But well, at the end they didn't go, and knowing that, then I knew like, okay, then the rest of the pilots, where it's gonna be so tight, and that first place is more possible now, and I will do my best to try to get it. So, well, on the whole event, it was 2 days event, Saturday and Sunday. We got practices, we got qualifying rounds. I made well. I have some video problems, which I didn't have before. Strange. Uh, then I decided to rely on my goggles, on my model, and started using my model and never had one single problem again. So, well, with that, I started flying more relaxed because, in practices, I lost video for maybe half a second, total gray, and that's
Yeah, that's a
waste.
lot of time.
Yeah. So that was a little bit frustrating for me, but well, even the organization helped me. They say, okay, if you got these problems, you can get reruns. Just save your DVR and we will check it. But yeah, at the end, I started flying better because of that decision of flying with my goggles. And
So that was going from the ground station they provided to go into your goggle module.
yeah. But it
Okay.
is strange because other pilots were using the same and they didn't got any problems. So maybe
Yeah.
hardware compatibility, I don't know,
Yeah.
strange. At the end, I got a good time to qualify for the top 16, which will go into the double elimination bracket. Uh, I think six of the pilots there were like the most favorite to go to the finals because there's always like groups in the times, and you say, okay, these six are really close to each other. Then there's a gap of 2 seconds, and there is the another group of pilots. So I knew by those times that it was also going to be very tight, and I actually went to the losers bracket once. I mean, I think in the second round. Uh, Four very skilled pilots of us raced. Actually, the four that went to the finals raced on that bracket. And I got out with also Spanassi, which is from Brazil. And we were like, man, this could be it. If we don't get it right again, we're out. So then I just also tried to relax. I think relaxing in this hobby is very important. And then continue winning onto the finals again. So in the finals, I proposed the format of Chase the Ace.
Okay.
Some of them, they didn't even knew it, so I had to explain. Because I really like it when I was in multi-GPIO World Cup and also in this last Pro Champion. I really like that format. And everybody agreed. The directors accepted, and I lost the two first races. First race won Spanazzi. Second race, Spanazzi was going to win. And if I'm not wrong, he made a mistake on the last lap, and Kino, who is from Costa Rica, won. So one victory each. Tier 1, Kino was going to win with a second victory. And after the last gate and before the start-finish gate, he went to the grass and crashed. So he just was like 10 meters from winning.
Oh, wow.
And I was behind him, so I could win my first victory in the tier round. And the fourth round was so lucky for me because there I tried to start as fast as I could so that I had like clean air, clean video. And I think that put a lot of pressure on the other two pilots that were behind because the three of them made terrible mistakes in the first lap, crashed. So in the first lap, my friend Rodrigo was spotting me, and he said, "Man, you're alone. You don't have to rush. Just take your chance." And I say, "Okay." So I was very confident, and I even went more slow than I really needed to because I just want to be secure. And then he suddenly told me, "Man, this guy is behind you. Just accelerate because he's gonna catch you up." And it was like the second lap. There's a video that Spanassi uploaded with these brackets.
Yeah.
And in the third lap, there was some kind of strong wind, and one of the gates before one tunnel was a little bit bent. So that perspective also changed the way the pilot sees it when taking that curve. And in the third lap, I saw it, and I took it in a way that I was going to crash with the top part of the tunnel, but I decided to like go around in order to avoid crashing and take it. But the one that was behind me, when he saw that bent gate, he crashed into it. But he was with a so fast pace that if he hadn't crashed into it, and while I was returning to take the same tunnel, he would have definitely passed me. So it was also a lot of luck that he crashed, and that I decided not to crash and play safe, So after that, I just finished the last of the 3 laps, and yeah, I couldn't believe it that I got somehow lucky and won this championship.
So I mean, I think the thing that's funny to me is like I hear you downplaying yourself in this, like, oh, it was just kind of luck, and I got luck, but like you, I don't think you don't make it to that level without being proficient and very good.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I was, I told you at the beginning before we started interviewing or recording that I had asked Angela Jax. I was like, what should I talk to Ramon about? And she goes, he's super humble, and he always goes out of his way to thank the race organizers and thanks all the participants, and she just had awesome things to say about you. And I can totally see it coming through right now, where you're just like you're if this were any of the the top American pilots, right, like a Vanover or an Evan Turner, they would tell you there's an element of luck to it, but they're also going to tell you, but I was just the best. Right?
Yeah.
And I love the humility that you're bringing to it. That is, I mean, I think it speaks well for you. So what, besides the actual winning of both of them, what do you think are what do you think are the things that stand out the most for you during either one of the championships?
What do you mean by stand out the most? Like the things...
I mean, like, just things not necessarily having to do with the race, but like when you think back on it, are there memories that come out to the front where you're just like, well, there was this that happened?
Okay. Well, I think two things that were very important while racing, as I mentioned, I think, was keeping the nerves as low as I could.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. And the other thing, which I think was very important, is when I was about to race the third race of the finals, I heard some colleagues, Mexican colleagues from Guadalajara, shoot out, "Hey, come on, San Luis Potosí," which is my town. Mm-hmm. You can do it. And that cheering really, really motivated me, really made me feel that I was doing something for or representing my hometown, which is not a very big city in Mexico. Mm-hmm. We are only 2 FPV pilots in this big city.
Oh, wow.
So imagine that. There are more but they don't take it that seriously, at least not for racing. But mm-hmm. Racers, there are only 2. And I say, okay, man, yeah, you have to do something about that. You have to get the best you can, or do the best you can, because I know that when you practice, you have no nerves at all, and mm-hmm. And I think when you practice, you get the best flying you can give. Mm-hmm. So I say to myself, okay, just repeat and just fly what you have practiced so much in all this year, and you will do it very well. So I think that's two key things to have in mind, or that really help you to relax. And if there's some friend with you or some other people cheering at you, that also really helps.
So what you're telling me is that A, you're a super chill dude, and B, the community behind you made a difference.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you to bring home both of those championships to your hometown?
A lot. My friends, which they sometimes say, oh, man, you are kind of addicted to this thing. You leave some important things because of practicing. You prefer to practice instead of going to a party or whatever.
Right.
They say, man, now I understand, and I think you deserve to win because you gave so much. And that was so a very nice feeling to me. I also got an interview by the local newspaper here.
That's awesome.
Because that was funny, because I say, okay, it is important to at least to be known for people from my city. And I called the newspaper, and they I told them, hey, I am a FPV pilot who won a championship, and they say, oh, we heard about you. You want an interview? And I say, really? Do you have heard about this? Okay, yeah, let's do an interview. So yeah, that was last week, and they make a quick interview on the radio. And well, I think it's also very important for me because with this little or with these wins, I think we can grow the community. Maybe people from San Luis, which hear that one of their a Potosino is how they call us.
One of their
A
own.
Potosino won this, then they say, okay, maybe I want to know this guy and see what he's doing. And I think that's also very important to grow the community here in Mexico.
So, I want to ask two. I want to actually transfer into that community aspect is the next line of questioning. But before we get there, there's one thing I want to ask you is, you know, a lot of the racing that you hear about or that I hear about is the U.S. or something in the EU or maybe Korea.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you feel like these championships lend credibility to Mexico and Latin America as a racing body?
Do you mean the race community
So,
from USA, Korea, and Europe?
well, I mean
How do
that's
they?
who you hear about the most,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Quite frankly, until I had a conversation with Angela, I didn't know there was an FPV scene. I mean, I kind of figured, well, there's probably folks that fly in Mexico and Latin America.
yeah,
But then to find out that, oh, well, like not only are you guys organizing national championships, but you're organizing, I guess, what amounts to regional cultural championships.
yeah.
Do you think that, like, how do you think that impacts the how important FPV is to that area of the world, to your area of the world?
Well, I think a lot. I think a lot because when people ask, when you tell people, I won some Mexican drone championship, and
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, okay, how many pilots are in Mexico? Maybe less than 100.
Mm-hmm.
To say a number, and they also ask, or people also ask, okay, and what is next?
Mm-hmm.
Then what you say is, okay, well, I'm going to represent Mexico against other very qualified pilots from other Latin American countries. They say, okay, now that's an international competition
Mm-hmm.
where maybe that 100 pilots gets into, I don't know, maybe 500. I don't know how many we are together in all that countries.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I think it's marks a very huge difference between only regional championships between countries
Mm-hmm.
compared to an international championship
Yeah.
with several countries. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting, and I got to watch the the multi GP US Nationals for the first time this year,
yeah, okay,
and it was great. Like it was exciting,
yeah,
and I wasn't there. We watched the live stream, and my son and I sat down, and we watched the finals. We watched the top 16, and it was super exciting, and I was like, I would definitely watch this again. And hearing you describe, especially that chase the ace and the final 16 from the Latin American Cup, I can feel that excitement again. It's like, man, I wish I could have seen that. Like, I bet that would have been some super exciting racing.
yeah,
Yeah. So,